Hello, lawn mowing people. What I'm going to talk about today is 7 great ways to make your lawn mowing business sticky so those customers come to you and they keep on coming back. Now, starting a lawn mowing business can be lucrative, it can be rewarding. However, you can't just go out there and mow lawns. What you've got to do is you've got to create loyal customers. You've got to create customers that want you to mow their lawns. And so what I've done here is I've come up with about 7 ways of making your business sticky and getting those customers to come to you instead of going to the competition. Now, the first thing that you need to do is choose a memorable name. Choose a name that's easy to remember, a name that hasn't got any weird spelling, so it can't be found in a search engine. And it needs to be a name that stands out and is easy to remember. It should also be unique and easy to spell and have a positive correlation with the potential customers. In other words, don't have negative connotations with your business name, like decide that Up Your Grass is a really good business name, or something like shortcuts that can actually mean a shortcut or that they're cutting corners. Try and avoid names that can mean two things like that. And also try and avoid names that will get lost in the crowd. Like if you called yourself the name of your area and lawn mowing, then what's going to happen is when people search for your name's going to be too generic. It's going to show up, and it's going to show up with about 100 or so other search results that are similar, and your name's just going to be absolutely buried there. So if you had a name like Fox Mowing or Beer Mowing or something like that, it would be a lot easier to remember and find than a generic name like Auckland Mowing. Now, another thing that you can do is you can have magnetic business cards instead of your standard business cards. Magnetic business cards are a really great idea because they make it easy for the customers to have your information on hand. With a traditional business card, what usually happens is after you give it to the customer, it usually gets buried under a pile of assorted bits of paper if you're lucky. If you're not lucky, it just gets thrown out straight away. Whereas with a magnetic business card, what happens is it normally ends up going onto the fridge, or if it's in an office, it goes onto the filing cabinet, and people may forget about it for a year or two, but they'll know exactly where your card is when they need it. So hand out magnetic business cards, don't hand out cardboard cards, and you'll find that you'll get a much better result. And you'll get people ringing you for a long time after you've handed out the card. And the customers will be able to get hold of you easily too. I have people that I sell lawn mowing quotes to, and sometimes I get the people that have bought the quotes ringing me back asking me for the details of the guy that bought the lead off me because he's quoted on the lawn. They need to change it and they don't know how to get hold of him because they've lost his card. If he had a magnet, this kind of thing wouldn't happen. So as far as magnetic business cards go, you can get it in a place like Vistaprint. Not horribly expensive. I mean, you're looking at 32 cents a unit here for 25 of them. I mean, I'd order 100 or so, and the prices are pretty cheap. And if you order it from Vista, you'll get it within a couple of weeks worldwide. So good place to go. The cards quality is probably maybe about 70 out of 100. Not absolutely brilliant, but pretty good for the price. The next thing that you could do is offer value-added services. These should be things that set you apart from customers. They can be things like fertilising, weed control, and tree and shrub care. They could be things like fertilising, weed control, or tree and shrub care. But it's even better if you can think of something that's really unique. If we go down a driveway with one of our vans and a branch touches our van as we're going down the driveway, we'll trim it. We'll just take it off with a pair of loppers so it doesn't interfere with cars going up and down the driveway. And that kind of thing only takes us about a minute. And it just looks nice, and the customers notice that their driveway's not getting clogged up. Just little things like that. And if you can't offer additional services and your customers want other things like gardening or whatever, try and find a local business that'll help them, or work with a local business that'll help them, because if you can't point them in the right direction, they'll go off looking and they might find a gardener that mows lawns, and then you've lost that job. Now, another thing is referral programs, and that's actually what I was just touching on in the last one. If you have agreements with, let's say, a gardening company, a tree company, a hedge company, if these are services that you don't offer, and as long as these guys aren't mowing lawns, then you can actually send work in their direction and they can send work in your direction. And this is a really, really good way of getting customers as well. Now, another good way is to ask a customer if they are happy with your service. Then ask them, say, hey, you're looking for some new jobs, you've got room for some new jobs, but you work with referrals. Have they got anybody that might like a free quote? And you'll be surprised. You might end up, if a customer can refer another customer and you've got 50 customers, and you might end up with 100. A referral system is a really, really good way of building your business. And also, when a customer is referring you, that means that they like you, and that means that they're a lot more loyal than your standard customers. Now, another thing that you can do is talk to real estate agents, let them know who you are, let them know that you do lawns, and that when someone, maybe you could say, if he sells a house to somebody and they take over the house, maybe you could say to the agent, hey, if you give them the card, I'll give them their first cut for free, or something like that. I don't normally recommend that, but if someone had just bought a house and moved into a neighbourhood, it could be a way of bringing a new customer on board. Now, the next thing is make sure that your logo is fairly easy to recognise. It's much better if people can recognise your logo and know that it's you without even having to read your name, because people can remember pictures a lot easier than they remember names. And this is also a really good way of having your name out there if you've got sign-written vehicles, because people get to know what your logo looks like. Now, there's a couple of places that you can get free logos from. One of them is Vistaprint. And if you go here, this here is it asks you a few questions about your logo and about what you want, and you just go through and you start creating a logo. And one of the good things about a logo from the site here is that when you've got your logo, you can actually download high quality copies of your logo. So you can actually even download a logo that's good enough to send to a signwriting company. So that's pretty cool, and that's all free. The other thing that you could try is Canva. Some of this is free, some of it isn't. It depends. If you do a search, let's say this is a logo design thing on Canva. If you do a search, then it gives you a whole lot of fully editable templates for logos, and you can just have a play around with them and design a logo there. Now, the other thing is communication. Now, communication is king. You want to keep your customers in the loop. So if something happens, let your customers know about it. We found this really, really super helpful when COVID was happening, because we let our customers know exactly what was happening. And we do it via text. We don't phone customers because that takes too long. We just send mass texts. And we do the same if we're running late for a job. If we can't do it that day, we'll text the customer and let them know. That doesn't happen very often. And also, if I'm doing a quote or meeting somebody, and if I know that I'm going to be running late 15 minutes before before the time of the appointment, I'll text them and tell them that I'm running 15 minutes late or whatever, so they know. You turn up late and you are running late, but it makes you look more reliable because you touch base with them. Now, another thing is that if you miss a call and they leave a message, then call the customer back immediately. I have a message on my phone and it says, if I'm not answering this phone, it's because I'm on the other line. So they expect me to ring back immediately, and that's what I do. And that's a really, really good way of getting those customers or getting those leads that you missed. Now, another thing is just never take a call when you're talking to a customer. That's just rude. I absolutely hate it when I'm talking to somebody and suddenly the phone rings and the phone becomes a lot more important than I am, and I'm standing in front of them. How would you feel? So what I normally do is when I'm talking to a customer, if the phone rings, I just ignore it and tell a customer that I'll deal with that when I get back to the vehicle. And they'll appreciate that. Another thing is focus on building relationships, and that's talking to your customers. I mean, don't talk to them every single time you do the job, but talk to them occasionally, and care about your customers. If you see them and if you catch their eye when you're out mowing the lawn, then give them a smile, give them a wave. Even if you're having a bad day, give them a wave. The other thing is never complain to your customer about your day. It doesn't matter how bad it is. Just don't complain to your customers ever. Now, in conclusion, making your lawn mowing business sticky requires a combination of these things: great branding, value-added services, and consistent customer communication. And so if you follow these tips, you can build a loyal customer base, establish a successful, sustainable business. Try saying that. So maybe I should proofread this. And you'll have a great business for years to come. And so this is what your customers look like. They'll all be happy. So I hope you enjoyed that, and do remember that we have a membership, Lawn Mowing 101. You can do the search for backslash membership. We've got a 7-day free trial, or you can click the link below this video. And thanks for watching, and just remember, get out there, mow lawns, have fun, and happy lawn mowing, people.